First up, we have some fluff. 3 questions asking you if you have trouble remembering what you read, however doesn't say if long or short term. Also if you struggle understanding points. Also if you have trouble picking what not to study. Second paragraph is more fluff trying to sell you the book you just bought. After that, it makes a point saying skills are refined habits. Second point of this paragraph being strategies. Strategies are stacked skills laid and applied in a plain and planned manner. Calculated? Last point of this paragraph being metacognition. Metacognition just meaning self-awareness. Awareness of what you know and don't know. Metacognition.
I don't understand the last paragraph. It says, many students come and go college-level course content. If you don't have prior knowledge about a subject, then looking at though a text is right thing can help you make sense if you're reading a subject.
This is why we'll begin to look at the structure of reading in Unit 1 of this text. Another reason it is a good idea to look at the what PC's writing is that to learn information you need to practice learning parenthesis. Studying. In an organized fashion. When information is more organized, you will remember more accurately. When a better way to organize information in your mind to learn that is at the same time to ask you for the right information. Well, basically, it's saying is to be aware of the structure of how text is written under a specific field of study. For example, if it's engineering, the way information is written for engineers is going to be different than how it's written for a geologist. So if you prep yourself by submersing yourself into formal text and articles about the subject before you jump into the college course, you'll be better prepped for any new information on that course.
Oh, so every field has their own style that might read differently than other fields.
Yeah, and I may finally add, in the last paragraph it talks about how this book is pre-cooked with superficial trivia that will work for miscellaneous college readings. End of page 13. Preface.
Whoa, what's wrong with her claw?
That's called a palm, silly, and she is quite obviously molting.
I see.
Hello, this is Harry to point out they were looking at a black person hand, and the difference of melanin confused them. The author of this video was going to make a joke about monkeys, but he didn't.
Molting creatures are about the only interesting thing in this page anyway. This is just re-emphasizing that we read better by having read similar writings before.
What is that in the bottom left?
That's what we call a bad diagram. It's just showing that after obtaining a bit of information we digest it and that facilitate us on retrieving more information. Like a vicious cycle, but good. Next page just tells us what we are going to study with a little writing exercise asking us if we know any trivia related to gray matter. Do you know of any fun facts about the brain?
Oh, well, don't look at me. Ask them.
The average age at which one gains consciousness is 5 years old, while self-awareness is at 13. You get what I mean? Whoa, what, how, how, when, why, what, where,
What? Don't tell me you are one of those silly willy ones with no inner monologue inside your head.
But that's not how an inner monologue.
Whatever, just keep going, silly.
Alright. Next 5 questions. We are trying to make it so you can make these exercises mentally, but you can use anything to write them down if you want.
Spoiler! You don't want to write anything down.
Title is 5 Things You Must Never Forget. Number 1. Weather is a name, date, or directions. There always seems to be something new to remember. Yet you feel like there is no room for new information. And unluckily you are no computer, but you can improve it by, doing the next 5 bullet points. Why did they mark the first paragraph with 1 if it isn't part of the 5 things to not forget? What a bunch of horse apples. I spotted another printing mistake in the index as well. They added Unit 3 where there should have been Unit 4. We'll proofread this formatting, I swear. Yeah, don't push me. Number 1, the aided memory. Don't want to forget what you learned today. Sleep on it. Naps, ideally 90 minutes long, help you register the happenings and how it was learned in the day. Then when you catch your Z's at night, your brain creates memories of the day's events. But overload your brain with long-term memories and you may struggle to remember recent events. Scientists once thought that memory improved when neurons were created in the hippocampus, the region of the brain where the little hippos our brain generates get their career degrees. Hee.
Shut up.
The hippocampus, the region of the brain where memories form. Instead, better memory may be possible in brains with less new neurons developing in said zone. Recent studies also found that migraines, music, habits, sync, and thinking like a child each improved individual memory. By golly, Twitter users must be geniuses. Number 2, the jaded memory. Doctored photos can skew how you perceive the past, according to a recent study using images of well-known demonstrations. The first was the well-known picture of a man blocking a row of tanks in Tiananmen Square in 1989 with a crowd of spectators added to the original. And the second photograph showed a 2003 anti-war protest in Rome, with both riot police and a masked protester added to the picture. Those who viewed the altered images recalled more violence and damage than actually occurred, compared to those who saw the originals. People who looked at these altered images also felt less inclined to participate in future demonstrations than those who viewed the original photographs. These results should not come as a big surprise. Participants of previous studies also thought their imagined images were real. Detriments to achieve total memory recall could include catching a cold, weed, football, and being a male, research shows. Number 3, the age memory. Partially due to the decline of the hippocampus function with age, the elderly suffer from a loss of episodic memory. This impairs their ability to recall more vivid memories. What we see. heard or felt during previous events. And because we use the same brain parts to imagine and to remember, older adults may not only become forgetful but also struggle to picture hypothetical situations. But some seniors have staved off memory decline by maintaining active social lives and simply believing that they still have good memory. Interestingly, the risk factor for dementia, obesity, hypertension, and high cholesterol coincide with those for cardiovascular disease. Scientists found that having only one of these 3 risk factors doubles the chance of dementia, and suffering from all 3 risk factors makes dementia 6 times as likely. Controlling for these can save both the heart and brain. However, age and brain factors count as well. The elderly may improve their memory in 8 weeks by eating well, exercising, and keeping mentally sharp. To prevent drops in blood glucose, seniors should eat 5 meals daily. These should be high in whole grains, antioxidants, and omega-3 fats. And the golden years should consist of brisk daily relaxed exercises and brain teasers, as they've shown to cut dementia risk in half. Point number 4. Educated memory. Educated individuals often have more knowledge at their disposal. Studies show that the more you know, the easier it is to learn related topics. And the degree-holding older crowd outperforms its less educated counterparts on mental status tests. But the ability to remember what was learned seems to decline at a faster rate. Granted, the more one knows, the more one forgets. But don't expect the springs of your education to feed the fountain of youth against memory loss. Those with a higher working memory sacrifice this advantage when sweating bullets under pressure. For example, worrying about potential mistakes on an exam squanders brain activity that could otherwise be devoted to recalling a synonym for forgetful, or recalling the zone of the brain that memorizes.
Was the thing where with the